So granting that we are done with our preparatory data analysis or exploration, and then of course we do have data cleaning, what would be the next thing that we are going to do? So this next step would be very much exciting. It's because here, as a data scientist, we are given more freedom to do data exploration and a lot of things connected to building our model. So in this lesson, we are going to talk about development and evaluation of our models. So before we continue, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there so that you would be able to be updated of what's going on in our channel. And every time we upload a certain video, you will be notified. So we do have a lot of lessons for you guys. We do have lessons about mastering machine learning algorithm, the deep learning mathematics, natural language processing, the different data science tips, lessons on how to make your data science projects, and a lot more about data science algorithm. So don't forget to share this channel with your friends and your networks. So we said that at this stage of making your data science project, you're given more freedom to explore your data. And maybe you would like to ask me what would be the reason why the freedom is more intensified in this stage of your data science project. Well, the rationale for that is you would like to have a value as soon as possible. So when we're talking here of value, it could be a business value if you are dealing with business data. It could be health value, of course, if you're dealing with health. It could be about educational value. That is, for example, when you are talking about a situation wherein education is the prime consideration of your data science project. Like, for example, you would like to predict what would be the most possible courses that must be offered in the next 10 years. And a lot more value that we can think of depending on what situation we are in. And of course, it would depend also on what kind of data we have. But then, of course, we have to think that the solution for each data science case is not the same. The reason for that would be we have different data sets, we have different variables, we are considering a lot of different factors in our data science project. And of course, we have different goals. And because we do have all of these differences, then we can say that our solutions, the way we approach a certain data science project would be different and unique for each respective data science project. And with that being said, we can say that each data science project has a very strong experimental character. So it has something to do with experimentation, and what we experiment here is the kind of model that we're going to use depending on, of course, with the data that is available. And I believe that something is really going on in your mind. You have a lot of questions right now because I have said about the experimental value or character of our data science project. And I believe that you would like to clarify this matter as early as now. And when we say experimental character of our data science project, it actually involves two things. And these two things are, number one, we are actually experimenting on the types of algorithm and the parameters that each one will be used for our data science case. So with respect to this, let's remember that in making our data science project, we don't actually consider only one algorithm, but we use a lot. So for example, if we would like to make a prediction of the foreign exchange rate, then we could use the neural network algorithms such as the backpropagation, radial basis function, and long-term short-term memory. And also we could use support vector regression. So these are just some of the algorithms that we can use. Of course, in your case, you can use some should you want to. And the number two is that the features used in the construction of our data. So let me go back to the prediction of the foreign currency exchange rate. So we could use the features such as the open value, the closing value, the volume, the high, and even the low values. Of course, we could also add the unemployment rate. We could also use political sentiments. We could also use inflation rates. So these are just some of the factors or features or even variables that we can use as factors that affect the foreign currency exchange rates. But then of course you can add more. And again, I would like to say that Our AI models would always depend on what kind of data that is available. And also, we have to think that some AI models have their own categories, and each category has its own function and attributes. And with this, we're going to differentiate which one is more applicable to a certain case. And that is why testing our models and evaluating our models would always be the best thing to do if we would like to identify which one is the most appropriate or the best model to use for a certain problem. So when we talk about development and evaluation of our models, it is not done however we want it, but it always involves critical planning and deeper analysis of the different points to consider. So we are going to talk about the 3 points to consider in evaluation and development of our AI models. The first point is the labels of our data set. So what do we mean when we say labels of our data set? So this has something to do with the different features or variables to be used to be considered for building our models. Of course, we know that most often what we use is the supervised machine learning, wherein the features are already and properly set. And of course, we know that in this case, models learn from the known features of a certain data set. Just like, for example, if we would like to classify the crack on a wall, and so with this, we need to have pictures taken during nighttime and also during daytime. It's because when pictures are just taken during nighttime, then it would be difficult for our model to identify the features of the wall and recognize whether there is a crack or not when the photo is taken on the other part of the day. So with this, it is always very important to always think what features to be used. And now the question is this: what if the features that we want to have is not readily available for the dataset that is present in our database? What would be the best thing that we are going to do if the case is like this? So in this case, of course, because nothing is there, what you have to do is you're going to create the data. And more often than not, creating the data is more daunting. And this is really what makes data science project more challenging. The number 2 point that we have to consider is the evaluation of our model. So what do we do in this part of our data science project? So what is this evaluation of the model all about? So not in all cases the value of our data is very much clear right there and then when we already have our model. Usually the actual value appears when it is already made known to us. It's like, for example, when we have the value of the predicted data. So in this case, we have to make comparisons of the real value and the predicted value. And of course, with this case, it is always very important to make differentiations. So in our other lessons about machine learning algorithm, the deep learning mathematics, even linear regression, we always talk about how to differentiate these values. And in fact, we discussed in these lessons, in these series, about how to minimize the different errors. So if you would like to know more about them, you may watch these series. It's because they give you more knowledge and education about understanding data science models by, of course, understanding what kind of parameter that is best suitable for a certain data science project at hand. And now the question here is this, and this is actually very interesting. It's because what we are considering here is that when, for example, the actual value does not automatically appear as we expected, but then it turns out that it does not happen. So what are we going to do? So in this case, when the value cannot be seen right then and there, then we're going to make a loop. And here, when we say loop, it is the feedback loop that can be created at the end of our solution. For example, you can ask your end user about what they think and feel about your services or products, which is, of course, the product of your artificial intelligence model. So you may as well ask them if the classification that the model gave us is also the kind of classification that they expect the company to design or create. So this is actually what we call the monitoring and even the reevaluation of our model. So this is the kind of thing that we always have to expect, This is the kind of thing that we always have to do for us to be able to make adjustments in the process of the deployment of our model so as to improve, maintain our model based on the demand. The number 3 point that we need to consider is that our algorithm must be optimized. So in this case, we must think of the most possible way to make our model in best use. So we have to tune our model based on the problem at hand, and of course based on the data that we can gather in the future. So with respect to this, just like what we have just said, we're going to make adjustments. In some cases, we have to change our parameters. So we have to make adjustments of the parameters and hyperparameters. So it will always be applicable to that kind of situation that we are in right now. Of course, we always have to think that in the future, the kind of model that we have today may not be the same model that we are going to implement tomorrow. It's because the behavior of people change, and the kind of data that we will gather is not the kind of data that we used to build the kind of model that we are using today. So do you want to know more about this channel? Just click the card on your right screen. You can enjoy our deep learning, mastering machine learning algorithm, natural language processing, data science tips, the different data science algorithms, and many more. And here you can always learn and upskill for free.